Rockwell podcast, episode 26. We have a very special guest in the building. I'm glad she was willing to do this podcast. She's a model. She has her own podcast called Bobbi's World. She's an entrepreneur, and I have a lot of questions for her. Let's make some noise for Bobbi Dean one time in the building. Hi,
Hey, what's
Bobbi.
up, guys?
How you doing today? Like, how are you dealing with this quarantine?
I'm good. Yo, the weather is so beautiful outside, and I'm hating that we can't go and enjoy it.
I know, I'm frustrated with that. And like, I'm a spring, summer kind of person. If this was the wintertime, I'd totally be cool with it. But
Yeah,
do you have a dog?
I do have a dog, and she's being chatty right now, if you
Really?
can hear her.
Do you walk her? What's her name? The dog's name?
Her name is Joy, and
Joy?
yeah, I do walk her.
Nice. All right, so we're gonna get into the background and how you started doing all this stuff. But I want to ask something because a lot of our viewers, they're like young in Hollywood and they're doing modeling, they're doing acting, they're doing music, they're doing art. And like the one thing I really admire about you is like your business acumen. Acumen's a word, right? I think that's a word. I try to use big words. Sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, like I really admire that about you. I want to know, like, because even for personal, like, how do you, like, because you do merch, you do your podcast, you do a bunch of things. How do you go about doing that, and how do you get yourself a good team? And we'll get back to your background and stuff later. But I want to start off like that.
Okay. Well, basically, for me and what I do everything on my own. I mean, for the most part, it's all funded by me. So I put my own money into my own stuff, and I see what happens, and then we go from there. Every now and then I do have a team of people that help me, but they more so help me with like video content, filming. We were talking about that before we started. Like, I'm not tech savvy, so I do need a little assistance when it comes to that type of stuff. But other than that, everything that I put out there, it's just all me. I'm researching online, which honestly, the internet, I think, is everyone's best friend. You can look up anything you want, whether it's like, okay, where can I go get my merchandise printed at? And just like anything else, you just have to compare and see what'll benefit you. Like, okay, what'll this person charge me? What'll this person charge me? Does it benefit me here? Okay, what about the material? This, that, like, you just got to ask a lot of questions and be willing to put that time and effort into it. But that's kind of how I go about it.
Were you like intimidated about it at first, or were you just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this? You just put your head down and just fucking did the work, or was it like, damn, I got to do all this, or how did it, like, was it intimidating at first for you to do all that?
Not really. I mean, I'm the type of person that I enjoy a challenge, and I like learning new things. So anything that I do, like I was saying before, I research it and I do my part. So not really. I feel like as long as you're willing to put in the work, you can't fail. Anything that you dedicate your time and effort into, you're going to succeed. And I feel like you have to have that mentality.
Yeah, I really respect that. For instance, like your calendar, right? So you have to, like, do you still do your calendars, or is that like, are you done doing the calendar?
No, that was at least for the time being, it was a one-time only type of thing. But I mean, people do ask about it. They're like, oh my God, are you going to make some more? Are you going to make some more? And to be honest, I would like to, but because that is very time consuming, I've been hesitant to do it. And then so I just kind of think about it now that we're in the whole internet stuff. I'm like, do people still like calendars? A good old fashioned.
That's so true. That's true too.
Because I know me, I'm old school. I like a good calendar. I have so many calendars. Like, if I would show you my wall right here, like, I have a big calendar where I set everything up for the month. I like to use the calendar on my phone. Then I have like an actual planner that I carry with me everywhere. So I mean, for me, yes, I like it, but I don't know if other people are still into calendars. So,
True, but people will still buy it, I'm sure. It was like always a thing, because I lose a lot of shit and I move a lot. And like, I always kept the calendar because it was dope. And I know you too. So I was like, dude, this is like, it's going to be valuable one day. But like, depending on the relationship I'm at the time, it would cause me trouble. Like, who's this? Like, why do you have
this? See, I feel bad about that because
no, it's cool though.
It's the same thing like with my sweaters, because my sweaters, it's like, that's me and I'm on it. I'm basically butt ass naked on it. And like, even like one of my sisters, that's actually her favorite sweater. And she'll wear it everywhere. She'll wear it when she's with my niece, and my niece is 16 years old. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, you don't get like worried if somebody asks me? She's like, no, that's you. That's my sister. She's like, I'm proud to wear it. She's like, I'll tell people that's my sister. Look her up, go buy one. I'm like, okay, I feel all nice about it. But then like, for instance, if I'm dating someone, sometimes the guys will be like, oh, I want a sweater. And I'm like, well, you're not going to get embarrassed that like people are going to be like, who's that butt ass naked on your sweater? And they're like, fuck it, I'm going to say what it is. I'm like, okay, but my bad for the problems.
That's another question I had. And like, since you mentioned it, like just in general, like we're not going to go into your like personal life right now, but like in general, when you're dating somebody, do they get insecure about these kind of things? Like, because
well, to be honest, I mean, I'm very upfront and I'm very open about everything that I do. And at the end of the day, one more time, we're in a phase where the internet is such a big deal. So even if I don't tell you, you could go look it up on your own. So I would prefer that it comes from me. And plus, it's nothing that I'm embarrassed about. Like, it's my work. So I'm going to speak on it. So if I am dating somebody, I always make sure to let them know from the beginning, like, hey, this is what I do. This is what I've done, so that they don't feel some type of way. I mean, I did date one guy who I think it was his mom, that she was like a pastor or something like that. And he did kind of worry about that. So he was like, do you mind if we don't tell them like right away? And I was like, that's on you, because they're going to look it up on their own and be nosy. So if you don't tell them first, that's your problem, not mine, because I'm not shy about what I do, you know?
Yeah.
Or like some guy that recently wanted to kind of like get to know me. He's like, well, what if I have a problem with the pictures that you post? And I'm like, well, then that's your problem, not mine, because you shouldn't be dating me. Like, I'm open about it. And if it's already a problem right now, then this isn't going to go very far, you know?
Yeah, they know what they're getting themselves into, and it takes like they got to be secure with it. And the way you
Right.
go about it too is like very classy. Like I remember like the first time you asked me, like when I met you a long time ago, you didn't ask me, you just mentioned, you're like, and then you were like, the way you own it and they're confident about it, and the way you do it artistically is very classy. And I think people need to differentiate in their mind between like certain things. Yeah, you know, like when it's classy and artistically done, whether it's like, you know, just blatant like trash, you know, they're just trying to like gain attention. Your shit is like art, you know, it's like
Thank
art.
you.
Your photos are art. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, to each its own, because I mean, whatever type of content you create, that's for you and for your audience. I just know what I like to look at, and those are the type of images that I like to create. And if people fuck with it, cool. And if they don't, then I'm sure they'll find somebody else that they can like their work. But yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. Like, were you born and raised in LA, in Southern California, or where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, but my parents are of a Dominican background, and my siblings were actually born in New York. So right before they had me, my family moved to California, and then here I am.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 older sisters, so I'm the 4th.
Are you the only one like in this kind of entertainment industry kind of field, or are there other ones?
Yeah.
How do they react to it? Like just in general, like all the things you do, like, are they supportive? And I know sisters, like sometimes I have cousins, I don't have any sisters myself, but I have cousins, they get like jealous of each other. Sometimes low key, they don't want to admit it, or they like fight, or they like judge each other. But you see, like, how is your relationship, and how do they deal with what you do in the entertainment industry and in art with everything you do?
Well, with my family, we're all kind of a few years apart, so I don't think that jealousy should ever be a problem, or at least it hasn't been. But as far as like support and stuff, I think at first my family was just kind of like, okay, sure, this is what you're doing, you know? And I was like, all right, like you can either rock with me or not, but it's happening. And then little by little, they started seeing that I was doing more things. And then, you know, as the whole internet thing started growing, I mean, my mom got a Facebook, got an Instagram, my other sisters, like little things like that. So then they would see my interaction online, and then they were like, oh shit, like this is kind of real. Or maybe every once in a while we might meet somewhere and someone would be like, hey, is your name Bobbi? So then they started seeing like, oh shit, like this is real. So, I mean, they're very supportive of it, and they want nothing but the best for me. So I know even my mom, like my mom is always so kind. She's always like, I pray for you, you know, I pray for your success and things like that. So they're very much supportive, but I do think that at the beginning, maybe they thought I wasn't serious, or maybe they thought it was a hobby, but yeah, it took them a little bit, but now they're on board.
Word. And like, so let's, from the beginning, when you first started, like, you know, like the classic story, do you start off modeling? That's your first, man, my fucking dog keeps barking, bro. He's trying to get my attention. He doesn't understand that I'm talking to the computer, so it trips him out. He's like, dude, who are you talking to? There's nobody.
No, for real. Yeah, he's probably like, who's in there with you?
Yeah, he's tripping out. All right. Anyway, I'm going to try to ignore it. But So like when you started out, you started like your first thing was modeling, like, and like
Mm-hmm.
what age were you at that time when you started? And like, how did you, is it the classic story like, oh, at the mall you got discovered, or was it something
No,
you
not at all.
uh-huh.
Like, I definitely not at all. And especially with my upbringing, nobody was gonna discover me at a mall. What mall? I wasn't
I
going
feel
to the
you.
mall. Like, my family was super, super strict, so I never got to really like go out and do kind of fun things that normal teenagers would do. But I actually went to a performance art high school. So I knew early on that I wanted to be in the entertainment business. But funny enough, what I wanted to do in the industry back then is way different from what I do now. When I was in high school, I actually thought that I was going to be on Broadway. I thought I was going to be in musicals. I thought I was going to be just, just out there doing that. And then as soon as I got out of high school, I was like, is this really for me? I'm like, I don't think I'm really that much of a good singer. And to be honest, I mean, I can dance, but it's not the best. And I just knew that I wanted to do something artistic. Funny enough, on my own, I just started looking up things online, and I started setting up different photo shoots with people. And then this girl reached out to me about auditioning for a girl group. And I was like, a girl group. I was like, well, shit, I thought I didn't want to do music or anything. I was like, fuck it. Let me just give it a chance. So I started doing that.
Was it
And then,
3LW? Like,
no,
I don't know why I'm just
I
assuming. All
wish
right,
it
word.
was 3LW. No, no.
Word. Uh,
Well, I mean, fast forward to that, the
yeah.
girl group didn't really go far. And to be honest, we were just kind of sitting on a lot of content, from music to photo shoots, everything. And even that got me frustrated, because I'm the type of person that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something, and nobody's going to get in my way. Like, I'm very productive. And I felt like, unfortunately, with my girl group, we were very counterproductive. So I eventually ended up leaving that. But being in the girl group did help me to learn a little bit more in the industry, and even taught me what I'm willing to do to like get my foot in the door. So
Mm-hmm.
I had already created a lot of different contacts through the girl group. So after that, I just started, networking more with people. And then next thing you know, I started booking more work. And I mean, that's kind of it. But I feel like I kind of left out a chunk as well. When I got out of high school, how I even started modeling, I started modeling through beauty pageants.
Mm.
So that kind of helped me to also realize that I liked modeling and that I enjoyed it, or that I was even good at it. Because before that, I hadn't thought about modeling. Like I said, I thought I was going to be on Broadway.
Were you like in high school they told you was bad and shit? Like, is that how you knew, or you just knew it like by your own inner confidence, or did people tell you like, oh, Bobby, you should model, or like, is like, how did you know you should do it? Just like you remember in Mean Girls, they're like, oh, you're really pretty, and she's like, thank you.
Yeah.
So you
She's like,
agree?
thank you.
Yeah,
She's
you
like, so
agree? You're
you
really
agree?
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how it was for you? Like, you knew?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've just always been the type of crazy person that I'm just like, I'm good at anything I say I'm going to do, period. And that's that. So I think I already had that type of mindset. And then through the beauty pageants, it just seemed natural. It was my first ever beauty pageant straight out of high school. I was 17 years old. And technically, in the state of California, to do any type of bikini work, whether you're on a stage or photo shoots, you need to be legally at least 18 years old. So that's a tip for anybody that's watching it that is a girl or a guy and they want to get into modeling. If you're not even 18 years old, you cannot be photographed in a bikini. It's considered child pornography. So I happened to be entering the beauty pageant at 17 years old, but when the pageant was going to officially start, I was already going to be 18. My birthday was already going to have passed. So it was perfect. It was perfect timing. But for beauty pageants, I mean, there's just a lot of stage work. You're dancing, you're talking, you do photo shoots, and it was just natural. And everyone there, the judges, the other participants, they were like, are you sure you haven't done this before? So it was a combination of me just naturally being good at this, and then me just having the mindset of, bitch, I'm good. I'm great. I'm going to do this, So I think that for anything, not even just industry stuff, anything that you want to do, you have to believe in yourself before anybody else. It shows. It comes out. So
yeah, because like I was going to ask you like later, but I was like, do you ever feel like unconfident, or like, because you do a lot of vlogs and like people love your vlogs and stuff. Like, do you ever have I feel like you're very especially, you know, on Instagram, I see it like you're spiritual in a sense, like you're a positive person. Do you have a bad day? Like, do you have?
Absolutely,
I know that sounds like a
absolutely.
dumb
Hell yeah.
question, but
No,
yeah,
hell yeah, I
yeah.
do. Yes, of course I do. I mean, just in general, I'm a little crazy person. I'm all over the place. My energy is very, I guess you could say, very vibrant. I'm passionate. I'm very, just anything I do is to the extreme. So I do try my best to stay positive and to just push, because not everybody, I mean, I would like to think that everybody likes me and everybody thinks I'm cool or I'm entertaining or whatever, but unfortunately that's not the case. I'm pretty sure there's somebody else that has way more followers or way more supporters or whatever. But at the end of the day, I believe in my content and I believe in what I do and I like it. So I put it out there. But yeah, of course, I have my days where I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? Or like, you know, I'm like, shit, like I gotta sit here and think of new things to do, or, you know, like maybe I feel like giving up or whatever. But my thing is, I actually had recently done a podcast about this where I opened up and I said it, like, I suffer from depression and I haven't really shared that with a lot of people, but I do think it's important to tell people, because people do see things online and they're like, oh my God, this person is so happy, so everything, like they must not have a bad day. But that's not the case. We all go through stuff. And I think it just more so matters like how you handle it. So
Yeah.
at least for me, when I go through that, I try to not let myself stay in that moment.
And when you say you suffer from depression, because like I just admitted that on the show recently, I think a lot of people do, but there's like different
Yeah.
things with that. Like sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
like mine is like genetic and shit, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
never feel like which is nothing wrong with people who feel like this. I'm never suicidal just because it's like my ego, you know. But like I've never
Yeah.
got like, you know, to that point. But like there's things like when everything is going right and you could still not be happy with it. Is yours more like a
1,000%.
clinical thing, or like, is yours like a just with the situation, is a situational depression, or what do you think? So
I think mine is a little bit of everything. I mean, yes, there are certain situations that I do think that probably trigger it a little bit more.
Mhm.
But for me, like I'll be honest, I've never been like how do they say it? I've never been like clinically tested or anything. Mine is just like it's obvious. It's one
Yeah,
of those, I put two and two together, I go through the motions and I'm like, yeah, I know that this is what I'm going through. It's depression. Like everything checks out to depression. And how you were saying that yours is like genetically, like I've had a lot of family members that have suffered from depression. So for me, seeing that and then seeing myself, it's like, yeah, I'm going through it too. Like clearly I'm having that too. But yeah, no, for me it can be a number of things, but it's just, I just really think anybody who suffers from depression, you have to remind yourself that you're bigger than the situation or that feeling, and you just got to keep pushing forward. You can't let it get to you.
exactly. I think that's what makes you so powerful, and your voice so powerful, and like what you post so powerful, because you're willing to admit that, but you're all like, it's relatable. People can relate to it. And also, it's like, you're still positive at the end of the day. Like you give them, I'm guarantee you it's better to be like that. I'm not saying better, but you have to be like that. But it's like some people who are just like, oh, just like insensitive, or they don't understand why people, you know, like, and people can't relate to those people sometimes, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
a lot of motivational, some people, like I send people motivational videos and I understand whether they can't even fucking, like, they don't even want to listen to it because it just makes them feel bad about themselves. But somebody
Right.
like you, like, you're like a Kid Cudi, or even like, that's how I want, like, we're using our struggles and shit to like help people. So I think that's dope. I also want to ask you real quick, so like with your podcast, it's called Bobby's World. We're gonna plug it like way more at the end too. Bobby's World. Everybody check that shit out. It's dope. That's like it. I had like a low key podcast, but
Mm-hmm.
but when I saw you, I was like, dude, like it was inspirational. So I was like, I saw a few of people, but yours is one of them that really inspired me. And how did you go about like creating that?
So even with my podcast, like for years, I kept saying that I wanted some type of like talk show or something where I can interact with other people, because most of the content that I do, it's usually just me by myself. And I do like to talk to other people, just how you're asking me questions and stuff like that. Like I like to pick at people's brains, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what motivates them and what I can learn from them, what I can pull from you to teach other people, you know? So I kept trying to think about it. I was like, what am I going to create where I can have that type of interaction with people? And eventually actually not even me, but a lot of my followers were like, dude, do a podcast, do a podcast, do a podcast. And for years I kept putting it to the back burner because I was just like, fuck, how am I going to start this? Like, where do I start? Then at one point, I was kind of interacting with someone who had their own podcast. And then that kind of discouraged me not to have a podcast because I didn't want that person to think like I was trying to copy them, even though their podcast was completely different. Their podcast is targeted towards sports. I'm a girl. I don't know shit about sports. I don't want to talk about sports, but I just thought, I was like, fuck, like if I'm dealing with this person, they're going to think that I'm trying to copy them. Eventually I stopped dealing with that person and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not stopping for nobody. Like, this is something that not just me, but my followers want to see. So fuck it. Let's go. And I just started doing my research just like with anything else. And I also started asking on the internet. I think people also get scared to ask their followers for advice. And just how your followers are looking at you for advice, you can get advice from them. So I started even posting it online. I was like, okay, cool. Like, who knows somebody that I can record with, or a studio, or what type of topics do you guys want me to talk about? And just, I started picking at everything and getting more information. And the next thing you know, I was like, perfect. I got all the tools. I got a studio. I got my camera guy. I got someone for audio. And then I was like, okay, who are my guests going to be? And I was like, fuck it. My friends, people that I interact with, because I'm going to be comfortable with them. They'll be comfortable with me. And then from there, we'll just go with it and we'll see who else wants to be on the show. And it just kind of was a snowball effect from there.
100%. And like, that's inspirational. And it's also like, not to double back to what you said earlier, like you adapted, like you switched to what's your strengths. And like, it's not maybe you fell, you're probably still, you were in movies and shit. You did acting and shit. Like you could probably like do more, like anything you want, but it's not, I'm trying to tell all my listeners, like, dude, don't put all your eggs, not in a negative way. It's like, especially nowadays, I call it the Renaissance era. That's basically what it's like, dude, we're meant to do multiple things. And just because you're doing things, it doesn't take away from anything else that you're doing either. You know, like
exactly.
You're the queen of this. You put out so much content, you put out vlogs, and you put out your Instagram, you do modeling. So it's like, it's the human embodiment of that. Like, you're not attached to anything. And I'll say you have a Tumblr still. Do you still update your Tumblr?
I do still update my Tumblr. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, she's still up. That's another platform you have, you know, and people are looking at that shit. That's hard. So like, let's go back to the beginning. Like, so you were like a TV host, right? For like a Playboy TV or Playboy online. How was that experience? Did you like meet Hugh Hefner?
Sadly, I didn't. I did get invited to a few different parties, and because I normally don't really go out or turn up, I made the mistake of turning down the invitations, and I didn't get to meet Hugh Hefner.
Oh shit! Hold on, your screen froze. Hold on. We're still live. We're still recording, but I can't see you. We still hear Rockwell podcast. Shit happens. Yeah, her screen froze. But do you guys see what the fuck I'm talking about? She know what the fuck she talking about. Y'all better listen. Get these gems. She gonna come right back, but like, listen to the shit she's saying. Like, let it penetrate your brain, because a lot of y'all are too chokeholding into one thing, and you got to do multiple things because it's the only way it's gonna bring you. Yeah, I was hyping you up right now while you were gone. I was telling like, y'all better listen to her. Like, she's dropping gems. But yeah, continue.
Okay, sorry. I don't know where it cut off or what happened, but
it happens. It happens on the fucking Tonight Show. That's why I don't feel bad about anything that happens, because I love their transparency. It happens on Jimmy Fallon's show, like that. Like, yeah, because he's doing it from home also. Like, all that shit happens. So yeah, continue. You were speaking about the Playboy TV.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet Hefner, but I did get to work on Playboy on their morning TV show, and then I did work on a few of their other TV shows as a model and as a host. So it was pretty cool. Playboy's, at least for me, Playboy was a wonderful experience, and I'm really, really happy that I got a chance to connect with them.
Do you find like, you know how you say you don't like to go party or turn up? Because I'm the same way. Like I'm a homebody, but right now
Yeah.
it's like I've been a homebody, so it's okay. I'm used to it. But also it's like, bro, now really, when this is done, I'm gonna be out all the time. But do you find it like difficult, like in the industry, especially like because you have to go out, be out there and networking. Like, how do you
Yeah.
balance like your own personality and still being out there and networking and talking to people?
Well, for me, I'm the same like you. Like, I've never been the type of person to party or to really like that stuff. Like, if you see me out, just know that that's probably going to be like the one time in the whole year that you're going to see me
I
out.
think I
Like,
saw a video with you and Snoop Dogg back in the day, or some rappers or something, but like nothing crazy. But like, I think
oh yeah, and see, that's what I was gonna say. Like, even that, if it's the picture that I'm thinking, that was probably for I went to a comedy show. Like, even that, like, I love comedy shows. Comedy is my thing. Like, that's a time that I'll be like, let's go out. Let's go. Like, oh, I get to go and see people perform and I'm gonna laugh. Hell yeah, sign me up for that. So, if it's the picture that I'm thinking, that particular day, I went to a comedy show and I happened to see Snoop there. So me just being the type of person that I am, I like to network and I like to interact with others. So I was just like, hey, Snoop, like, what's up? Can I take a picture with you? And this and this and that. And I've actually, I did come out on one of his like YouTube shows before because he had a podcast like before the whole podcast thing was popping and stuff like that. Yeah, he has one.
Oh, it's the GGN one? The GGN?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
So like I was a model on that. So I even introduced myself and I was like, hey, like I came out on this. And then I was a brand ambassador for like a cannabis brand. And what is it? Maybe like a few months after that, I ran into him again. So I was like, hey, like I'm so and so, you know. I think even like moments like that, like you have to be pretty ballsy and you have to be ready to put yourself out there. And I'm pretty sure somebody would look at that picture and be like, oh, that's some groupie shit or whatever. No, you can't have that mentality because there's a difference between me coming up to a celebrity and be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, let me take a picture and being thirsty versus me just being like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. I would like to work with you. This is what I do. That's completely different. And you have to be willing to put yourself out there. Like, you don't think that a lot of these celebrities got their start like that? Big Sean got his start like that. Big Sean was basically stalking Kanye at the fucking what was it, the
radio station, I think.
Yeah, at the radio station. He was stalking him, and then finally he got a chance to talk to him, handed him his CD and was like, yo, like, what's up? This is who I am. Like, you have to take that chance. So
that's why I think it's interesting because like back to the question is like you say you're kind of like what you like not the person to go out and party, but do you think knowing that you have great communication skills and you could talk to anybody and you're not really shy, that it gives you kind of like the gift of being able to stay in when you feel like it? Because, you know, some people stay in because they're scared of the world, but you know what I mean? Like, not even stay in. I mean, like not go to every single event. But I'm sure when you met, like you could tell by every picture, and so you could tell like confidence and bravado. So it's like, do you think that gives you a gift where you're able to just pick and choose? You don't have to be thirsty. You don't have to be like a groupie, like quote unquote, like people say. Like,
no, 1,000%. Yeah, I think
develop that. Like, was it natural or like you've always been confident? You always loved, you know.
I think for me, I've always been confident. Like I said earlier, I'm crazy. So in my head, you can't tell me different. Like, I think you need to have that type of mentality. You need to be that type of, I don't want to say delusional because anything is possible, but I do think that you need to be so outrageous with your mindset that it's like, you cannot tell me different. I'm the shit. I'm the best. I'm great. Like, speak positive things on yourself, you know? Like, if you're over here feeling some type of way, whether you say it or not, that energy vibrates and you're putting that out there. So it's like, for me, yes, I've always been a homebody. I've never really liked to go out or to turn up. There have been a lot of people that have not wanted to work with me because of that, because to them working means partying and that type of stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then clearly you're just not the type of person that I need to work with. When the time is right, I know when to go out, but I don't need to go out to make money. Like for me, I make my money through networking, and most of my networking happens online. But I do like that what you mentioned even about me, that it's like, okay, I can be a person that stays at home, but if I go out, I can socialize, I can talk. I do think that that's important for people to know your strengths and your weaknesses. If you know, shit, I'm a homebody and I don't like talk to people, well, practice, get better at it. So then
I feel
like
like
that
if you're like that, not to interrupt you, I was like, dude, if you're like that, you have to go out to practice. But yeah, continue what you're saying. I just want to.
No, but I mean, that's literally what it is. So it's like, just practice, talk a little bit more, ask people some questions, do put yourself in that predicament. Maybe you don't like to go out, but maybe your thing is going out every morning for a cup of coffee. Okay, well, practice talking to the barista, practice talking to somebody that's in line waiting for coffee too. Like, practice. So then like that, when you do finally get that chance, you're like, okay, I feel more comfortable. Like, I got this. And if not, fake it till you make it. Like, nobody was perfect off of like the first try. Like, you gotta keep going at it. Even for me, like when I did beauty pageants at the beginning, I was often told that I wasn't eloquent enough. And to be honest, I feel like,
I can't even imagine that, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's something that I was told. And for me, I think that it's more so because of like the way that I speak, my accent. I speak really fast, and I'm pretty sure sometimes I have my moments when I sound a little hood, or, you know, maybe the Spanish comes out a little. But to me, that's not what makes or breaks a great speaker. For me, someone who's a great speaker is someone who exudes confidence, someone who vibrates great energy, who can engage with the people that they're talking to. Am I talking to one person? Great. Make eye contact. Are you talking to a room of people? Great. Make everybody feel like you're paying attention to them. Like, there's different things, you know? And even that, I could have taken somebody saying, oh, you're not eloquent, Bobbi. I could have taken that and been like, fuck, that crushed me. But no, instead I was just like, oh, you don't think I'm eloquent? That's great. Awesome. Next. Here I go. Like, you know?
100%. And like, I agree with that. Everything you just said, I totally agree with, because I feel like when there's people speaking to me, like in a real, like, what's the word to use? Like proper way, like you're speaking, it doesn't resonate with me. I don't even listen to it.
Right.
It's just like a little corny. And like, I try my best, you know, we all have to do this. We put on our, like, the job voice or white voices on, but like whatever your voice is, I'm an Indian person, bro. I'm from here, but like my family's from India, but this is just the way I talk. But I noticed that if I just talk my way, no matter what, and I can still speak eloquently. I use big words, but it's not like on purpose, but like I'm educated, you know, so I use slang and I use improper English because that's the way to connect with people. So yeah,
right.
What you said about that. And so I want to ask you, like, okay, didn't you have like you were on I remember when we first met, you were like doing a bunch of these, and I think you were ahead of your time, and whoever you were working with, you guys were ahead of your time. It was like a show, and it was like a popular web series kind of thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? I totally blanking on the name. It was
I've done a whole bunch of random stuff.
It was like a drinking show. It was like people were drinking.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about a drinking show. You're talking about Tipsy Bartender. Yes.
Tipsy Bartender. Like, how was your experience? Because do a lot of people know you from that too? Because that was really popular.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, that's all the guy that created the show. His name is Sky John. He's basically the Tipsy Bartender. Okay. So he basically says that he started off because he was a bartender and he wanted to do something a little bit bigger than that. You know, he had higher aspirations than to just be a bartender. And then from there, he just started filming at home and just started putting the content out there. And then little by little, he started building his audience. And funny enough, I got connected to that show because a guy that followed my modeling for some time, he was like, Bobbi, he's like, you'd be great on that show. He's like, you know, you're pretty, you're funny. He's like, you can interact with anybody. He's like, you should talk to him. And I was like, well, at that time, I hadn't heard of the show because I actually wouldn't really be on YouTube like that. So I was like, what is this show? Let me look it up. And then I started looking it up. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, yeah, I fuck with it. I was like Skies has a lot of big energy. And I like that. Like I said, I'm big about everything. So I'm like, cool. He's got a big personality, big energy. Let me hit him up. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, one of your viewers mentioned the guy. I'm like, he said that you might be interested or might be in need of another girl. So we met up. We basically did an interview. We did a test run. We filmed an episode to see how we both, you know, vibe together and if it would be a good fit for both of us. And then from there, the rest is history. I just started working with him on the show. But yeah, the show's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I used to see it here and there. And like, that thing was ahead of its time. Whoever that Sky guy is, a guy, right?
Yeah, Sky.
Because he was like ahead of his time with the web series and all those things.
Yeah.
Back when I first met you, and I was like, dude, this shit is funny. You seem like the star of the show, but like, you know, like they weren't trying to force you to be the star of the show. You just, your personality shined. You know what I mean? Like it just shined. And so like, was that after Playboy TV when you're hosting there, or was it during the same time? Because you've done a lot of shit. And I want to tell people out there, you got to do a lot of shit out there. Like you can't just, I got people just studying Shakespeare in their room. You can't just study Shakespeare in your room. Anyways, we'll get into that later. But yeah.
No. But I mean, the advice that you're giving, like honestly, it's good advice, because I think if you would have asked people a few years ago, yes, absolutely. A few years ago, people were like, okay, just focus on one thing and that's it. Like, there's a saying for that. I think they would say like, you can't be a master of all trades or something like that. Yeah, like a jack of all trades. Yeah. And then they would say you would be a master of none. That was an old saying. Nowadays, that does not apply. Nowadays, you gotta have a billion different hustles. Even perfect example, Sky. How you're saying, yeah, he used to have that show, but even when he started doing that show, he still had his day job. He was still a bartender. He was filming the show. He was doing other things. I think at that time too, he was still like acting and doing auditions and stuff like that. Like, you can't just be stuck doing one thing. Like even celebrities, do you see celebrities just doing music or just doing acting? No, they got what is it? Liquor companies, makeup companies, hair products, like they do it all. Now you gotta hustle and have
Look at Will Smith. Like Will Smith even had to do the Instagram, and he's killing it on that. Like he understood you have to.
I'm so happy that he got onto that. I've been waiting for him to do that, because even him, that's another person. Great energy. He's funny, great content. And even that, it's like sometimes you want to see people outside of what's their like regular hustle. You want to see them do different things. You want to see the startup, the struggle, the everything, you know? And it's like, it's really nice. Like the internet is a really nice place to grow with people, for you to grow and for them to grow with you. So I'm with you. Have a billion hustles.
Yeah, exactly. And like with your fan base, right? Do you think, because I read a book, I always keep bringing up this fact, but I don't remember the book that I read that said this shit. But it was like having 1,000 core fans. Like I feel like your fan base is really like, you're like an independent rapper to me. Like you seem very independent for real though. You seem like an independent rapper. So like, do you think your fan base is very loyal to you and that's your key? Like, and does that work different than having like 1 million fans that aren't really connected to you personally? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I mean, I can't speak for other people because I don't know what it's like to have 1 million people following you and how that goes. But I just know for myself, like my people, they've been following me from the start. So even them, a lot of the times they'll randomly hit me up and be like, yo, I've been following you since that one project or since this and that. And it's like, it's really nice to see people stick around for that long, because I'm like, well, shit, thank you. At least I know I'm not boring. Like, you know, you didn't leave after a few months or whatever. But I mean, yeah, the goal is to grow with them and hopefully they grow with me too.
So what's your plans like going forward? Wait. I'm gonna ask you that in a bit. Okay, real quick. So like from Playboy TV, you were doing Tipsy Bartender, and then what did you transition to at that point? Like, because your vlogs are popping too, and people. I used to watch them. I just don't watch as much anything anymore. Like, so I didn't like. Yeah. You're still doing it, right? And you still have an audience. Like, how did that help you elevate your career? And then also like, what's your like transitioning? Where you going? Like, what's your steps going forward? And where do you see yourself ending up at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just in general, I would like to think of myself as a creative person. Yeah. I like to create. That's where I get that from. So for me, it's about creating anything. So I like to keep it going and moving and just productive all the time. So yes, I do like creating vlogs, but my goal would obviously, yes, I would like to grow with the vlogging and stuff, but I want to create other things too. So even recently I started writing short films, and I've been helping to direct and to produce those. So my goal with those would be to probably get them into some festivals, and hopefully we can go international with that. So I would like to see myself doing that within the next few years.
Word. And like, how do you develop like speaking so confidently? Because this is the thing, and it's not going to be a sexist thing, because I'm telling you, like, it's girls and guys, like good looking girls or good looking guys, like, especially if you're like born that way, like you grow up like not even having a personality because you don't even got to work on it. Everything just comes to you. Do you think like how like what just to people out there, because I feel like it's an important skill to have. Like you got to have the looks, but you don't even have to have the looks, but you have the looks. But you got to also have like a way of speaking, a personality, like like an enigmatic personality. How did you develop that? Was it born in you?
I mean, I would like to think it was probably born in me. Like, if you were to meet my family, everyone's very charismatic and everyone's pretty chatty. Like, everyone's just the type of person that they want to talk to you and they want to make you feel good and they want to make you laugh. And even that's something that always stuck with me for literally until now. Like, for my whole life, I've always had this one quote where it's people remember how you made them feel. So that's really important to me, whether it's a business meeting, whether it's just somebody at the coffee shop, whether it's someone at an audition. Like, I want people to be like, damn, that one time when I talked to Bobbi, I had a great time. She made me feel good. She made me laugh. I took something positive away from that encounter. So that's just something that I always like to carry with me. So I don't care where I'm going, what I'm doing. I want the people around me to always feel good. So that's for me. I don't even think it's a personality thing. I just think it's like good vibes, guys. Let's all just have good vibes.
Did you ever have ugly years? That's kind of what I want to lead to. Like, did you ever, like in your life, because there's a lot of insecure teens, preteens, and I just want to know, like, did you ever feel like, oh my God? Because it's easy, people, and I'm sure a lot of girls hate on you just because, and not even girls, like everybody hates on people just because it's easy for you to say you're beautiful, you can talk like that. But did you ever have like in your life, did you ever have like a period where you're like, oh, I'm ugly, or like I'm like, and I hate even using that word, but people when you're young,
you just didn't feel as confident or anything like that.
Did you ever have that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, in the 3rd grade, my mom chopped off all my hair. All of my hair.
Okay.
All of my hair. I literally had a little Jew fro, like short as hell. I had a fro. My hair went from being curly down to my waist to a fro. Ugly as hell. Ugly, ugly, ugly. But it was just one of those, like, you're little, what are you gonna do? And at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it. This is how I look right now, so fuck it, And I mean, yeah, I probably felt sad at that time, but I got over it because I was just like, I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on this feeling. And in high school, dude, I mean, I've always been pretty small size-wise. Like, I'm very petite. I don't have breasts.
Girls insecure about that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
No, well, I mean, it's a thing because it's like, dude, like high school, everybody's developing. Everybody's like, you know what I mean? You got the curvy girls. You got the girls that look way too grown for high school. And then you had me. I look young as fuck. To this day, I look young as fuck. I still don't have no titties. It is what it is, But I don't know. I just think it's like, why, I don't know. Like, I can't. Like, why am I gonna let that bother me? Like, it's not something I can change. And this is just me. This is how God created me. And at the end of the day, he thought that this was perfect for me and for who I am. So I'm gonna go with that. Like, I'm not gonna change it. What for? And at the end of the day, it's literally how we've been saying this whole time. Like, somebody's gonna relate with you. Somebody's gonna look at you and be like, damn, thank you for that, because I feel the same way too. So even that, it's like, yeah, I could go get my breasts done. Yeah, I can try to do all these other things, but what for? Why am I gonna waste money to please other people when I'm okay with my shit? And at the end of the day, there's other people that look just like me and they're gonna be happy that I didn't change it, So yeah, but yeah, ugly face.
Because I was just asking, and even like, even right now, girls are dealing with this. Like, because I need to get my eyebrows done. I'm gonna tell you a true fact. I get them waxed. I can't get them waxed, but it's cool. Like, I'm cool. I asked my mom, she's doing her, so I can't do it myself. My point is, like, a lot of girls aren't able to. And this is gonna be a short segment on this part. I just want, like, because we do have female listeners out there. Like, how are you keeping yourself, like, first of all, in shape and beautiful? and those are the two things. Like, how are you maintaining the beauty during a quarantine? It's difficult, you know?
I mean, well, health-wise, I'm trying my best not to go crazy with the snacks because I love snacks and food. So I'm definitely trying to practice restraint when it comes to that because food is my favorite. I love food. Working out, unfortunately, I'm not working out as much as I would like to because
Me
I'm just
too. Me too.
sitting at my computer and I'm focusing on pumping out work. So I do wish that I was working out more, but I feel like as long as you can handle watching what you're eating, then that can help to kind of balance it out a little bit. And as far as like grooming and other things, well, boy, I already had to let go of my nails and that's
Mm,
okay.
mm.
Had to let go of
That's
my
tough.
lashes. Those babies are already out the window like a month
Yeah.
ago. But I mean, I just feel like do what you can. Like if you have stuff at home to take care of yourself, you know, like I gave myself a little mani-pedi. I have my little waxing machine here at home. I don't mind like
I need to give
doing
me
my
one of
own.
those. A
You
wax.
do. I love those. I've been trying to tell everybody that is the best thing ever. As long as you're not scared to like wax yourself, but or even have a friend that's confident to do it for you, like you'll save money. Like, you know, like I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just that person. I'll figure it out. I'll learn how to do it, and that's that. So I'm okay. Quarantine hasn't been too
Yeah,
much.
you're glowing right now. And like people always talk about skin, and what you were saying right now to the audience out there is like, dude, your diet really does affect your skin and
It
what happens with your
does.
skin. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people underestimate that factor. Like you don't even like this is the longest probably in like years that I haven't worked. I'm gonna do it today after this. I'm gonna go running. But I'm enjoying it too. I'm enjoying not the no pressure because I'm not even gonna see nobody. We're doing the vlogs or we're doing the Zooms and shit.
Yeah.
So, but I'm enjoying it. I already know I can get in shape when I want to get in shape. But yeah, it's still good to like mental health wise. I'm like you. Like this is the longest I haven't worked. I'm gonna get back on it. But yeah, it's
You're a
good.
guy too. And guys, it's easier for you guys to get in shape. Like you guys can literally start dieting for like 2-3 days and do a few little workouts and boom. Next thing you know, you guys have abs. For us women, it's like, damn, we got to do it for a month or 2 or 3. Like, oh, the struggle.
Yeah, that's debatable, but yeah, I feel you on that. Like I feel you on that. Sometimes I don't feel like that though, but I do feel you. And so like going forward, like what's your plans for okay, so we don't even bro, I got a traffic ticket and I keep wanting to like I want to get this shit over with. And I called the
Mhm.
courtroom today. I know this kind of sound irrelevant, but I'm just letting them in on my life. So and then the court was supposed to open tomorrow. Not like I really want to take care of it, but I just want like I'm
Right.
the type that I want this shit behind me. I got a traffic ticket for not having my headlights on. I just want to pay that. So I called the court. They're still closed today. But what that made me realize, like, dude, we have no idea when this quarantine is going to end. So how are
Right.
you like mentally dealing with that? Not in like everyday basis, but like preparing for the future wise. Like, how are you like if you don't know when it's going to end? How are you preparing for the futures?
Well, for me, I think it all starts with your mindset. So I'm really just trying my best to stay positive and think positive. And for me, it's just like the hustle doesn't stop. So I'm going to keep hustling. If I just got to do it from home, great. Well, then this is the time for me to promote my work, what I do, remind people, hey, I have this going on. Check it out. Like, I'm just trying to see how I can stay working, but in other ways, in different outlets. So I just think that that's really important for everybody. If you're busy and you're moving and you're staying productive, then you don't have really time for anything else. You don't have time for negativity. I think like that just kicks in once you're kind of just staying still. So
Yeah.
that's why for me, I'm like, go, keep going.
Let me ask you this, and you can, this is not, because I really don't have a lot of information on this, but I'm seeing this pop up because Casanova, he's a rapper, he just got one. And I don't know if it's a porn, I don't think it's a porn thing, but like, I think it's something where like back in the day, I used to drive escorts, and most of the times it was more of a companionship thing. So there's this app called OnlyFans. Like,
Mhm.
have you heard of it? I don't know too much about it, but I know a little bit. Do you ever consider like getting that? Because you would make bank on that, or is like do you have to like show things off or
I mean,
like
to my
sorry.
understanding, yes, you do have to kind of
You
show
do?
stuff.
Casanova
I
showing shit off? The rapper? Like does it like you have to
Well,
show.
I'm not familiar with Casanova. Is that a guy or a
He's
girl?
a guy. He's a rapper. He has a song. He's from Brooklyn, but like and even like Safari. But I don't think they're showing shit off. and
You
they're
said
doing
and Safari?
yeah, Safari, but I don't think he's showing
Safari
shit
likes
off
to show off his penis,
the
so
one time. But yeah, but I don't think on this. I don't think it's more
is
of
it
like
really one time?
I don't know. I don't know. But that's just like a question because I've been hearing about this shit a lot. And that's like I'm purely just asking like I thought it's like a thing for models. Sometimes people just like I don't even know how the app works. Like maybe they chat with you or you know what I mean? Like things. Do you ever think about shit like
Well,
that?
I'm not too familiar with it in that sense that I don't know if it's like a chatting thing or is it just pictures or what, but I do know that the app started a few years ago. It actually
Okay.
just started getting more hype, but it started a few years ago and it was more so targeted towards oh, I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Can you guys see me? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
Don't know what popped up on my screen. But yeah, so it originally started for like models to have private pages where they would only put exclusive content for fans. So like for instance, if I do a photo shoot with Playboy today, but like let's say like you know how normally people will like post stuff on the Insta story or on Snapchat,
mhm.
that's how OnlyFans originally started, where you would put like that type of content and your fans would pay for it so that they could say, damn, I saw some private stuff that she didn't post on her Instagram.
Mhm.
So instead of showing like the entire photo shoot, maybe you would show like the behind the scenes, the getting my makeup done, or oh, look at me and the other girls at the shoot. Like that's how that originally started. I guess this is just me kind of putting two and two together, but it seems like as OnlyFans kind of started growing, people started demanding more and the girls weren't mad at it. Girls were just like, okay, show a titty for a couple bucks, bet. Show my toes, bet. Show this, bet. So it started growing into that. And there's actually a lot of men on OnlyFans. To my understanding, the men will usually do like even like little porno skits with girls. They'll like sleep with women and film it and then post it there. And then it's like a monthly subscription. People pay, I don't know. I guess everybody has a different price for what their monthly subscription is, but yeah. And I've been asked if I would do one of those. Unfortunately, I don't, well, not unfortunately like for me, but unfortunately for my fans, no, I don't see myself doing that at the time.
Dude,
I
you're
don't.
like really good at handling your brand. And I was asking just because I didn't know if it was like, but like you seem very on point with knowing your brand, knowing what you want to promote, knowing what you want to. It's just it's very respectable. I do appreciate that. Like, and it's inspirational because for people to know their brand, I think that's like the key thing in anything. If you're doing music, acting,
Agreed.
modeling, a vlog, anything you're doing, and just knowing your brand, knowing your audience, and that's dope as fuck. And like with Bobby's World, let's get back to that, and then you got like 10 more minutes. Is that cool? 'Cause I got
Yeah, I'm good.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
So with Bobby's World, like, what's your plan going forward? Where do you guys? We don't have to know the city, but like you guys film it at a studio, right? Like that.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have people helping you with like? Is it just your friends every week? Like, because when I looked at it, reminded me of the greatest of all time, which is Howard Stern. It gave me like a Howard Stern vibe, like the way you
Nice.
guys filmed it, the angles. I don't know if you guys like purposely aim for that, but whoever's filming it, like really did a good job of doing that. And you guys talk about good content. So
Thank
just
you.
elaborate a little bit on yeah, Bobby's World.
So Bobby's World is basically a podcast where we talk about, for the most part, it'll be like my day-to-day life, like the issues that I go through. A lot of people know I'm single as fuck and dating is really fucking hard in California. So we talk about that. Sometimes I'll put people on blast in the horrible situations and just little dating advice. And then of course I get, different topics as well from just social media, what's happening in the world, and then of course like my guests and what they do and what they want to talk about. But that's originally how the show came about. Sometimes I do have my friends come on there, and then other times we have other guests that'll make an appearance as well. And we have everything from artists to actors to directors to influencers. It's literally a nice little mix of everything. And then as far as like who helps me with it, I have my friend that is the videographer. He films it, he'll edit it for me because like I said earlier, I am not tech savvy and I already have a lot on my plate. So it's like if I try to do all of that too, like I would drive myself crazy. And as far as like we have an audio engineer just because I like shit gets crazy. And then on top of that, if we're recording in a studio, we obviously don't want to pick up other people's audio. So I try my best to make sure that like we cover all of our angles. And I mean, my goal with the show is to have it grow, just like with any of my other
Does that
projects.
stress you out though? Not to cut you off, like does that stress you out? Like you having to like you're the final say on all these things, and also with like like people don't expect like even though we're in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
people don't expect like a female to be just so on top of everything in her career. Like does it stress you out dealing with that kind of stuff? Like having to audio, like do you have to approve the audio? Do you go
Yeah.
or do you just trust them? Like or how does it work for you?
Oh no, I go through every single thing, but I'm very how I was saying earlier, like I'm very organized and I'm very hands-on. So I want to make sure that everything is exactly how I want it. And not just that, but not just because it is my own content, but I want it to be how I would want someone else's show to be, like what are the things that I would be looking out for? What are the things that would make me want to continue to watch it? Even the things that we talk about that because those are the things that I'm interested in. Like I look at a lot of people put their content on, for instance, like YouTube or something, and it's very PG-13. And I know myself, I'm not a PG-13 person. I'm out there. Like I want to, even before this, I asked you, I was like, am I cool to cuss? Like, like
No, we cuss. That's why we're not gonna get no sponsorships anytime soon. But we have people.
Yeah, but it's like even with that, it's like like we're all adults. Like my show is not targeted for children. Yes, granted, I do have a few teenagers that do watch my stuff, but for the most part, I don't have children watching it. So why should I have to keep my show PG-13? So things like that are important to me. I didn't want to deflect from who I am. So I'm like, I want it to be as real and genuine. And it's like, hey, I cuss. I love to cuss. This is me. To me, that feels great. I'm sure someone else will look at it and be like, oh my God, that is so unprofessional. Great. Then my show isn't for you. But for me, that's the type of stuff I want to hear. I want to see people in their natural habitat. Like even for my guests, like I want them to loosen up the things that we talk about. Sometimes we talk about their sex life. Tell me, talk to me about that. Talk to me like I'm your homie, whether we're real friends in real life or maybe we just were acquaintances. But I want the people watching it to feel like they know you on that level. So it's like, let's get into all of that information, But
because I see a lot of podcasts, especially like I feel like yours is very informative. Like you can learn from people. It doesn't have to be information. It's like in music. It's like when people drop knowledge, it doesn't have to be like straight knowledge, like from a school teacher. You know what I mean? You can get knowledge and make it in a way that they can resonate with it. They can learn from it. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm telling you this, like clips, motivational clips. You know what I mean? Like for this, I guarantee you there's going to be motivational clips from this interview with you, but you didn't even intend for that. And that's the most beautiful way to do it because you got to spoon feed it. You got to make it like, like you got to add a little spice to it to make it digestible. I just thought about that right now and that's ill. I'm going to write that as a bar. But yeah, that's hard. Like that's the way you got to do it. Because right now, like I'm learning a lot from you, but you're not like preaching. You're like more telling me in a cool way that's relatable. And our audience could get that too. It's like, especially in the acting community, we got a big acting audience because my co-host is like really in the acting community. The one thing I noticed like with the acting community, and this is no hate because I love y'all, you're a big audience for me. It's just like you guys got to, everybody in general got to loosen up and just obtain information in the way and convey information in a way that's digestible and easily like Cardi B, like she's talking to fucking Bernie Sanders, and then it's like the information is still conveyed. So it's like with any way you go about it with music, like I think Young Thug to me is one of the greatest rappers right now because he's cool. So my point is just with you in general, it's like, dude, you make it like you're smart, you know what you're talking about, you're very confident, and the way you do it is very easily digestible where people could take it in like, and oh, that's cool, I get it. But if you're a teacher like saying this shit, it's like, dude, if you're doing seminars on this is how you do vlogs, this is how you do Instagram, this is how you do webs, like it's not gonna go that way. But sorry.
And honestly, like I don't even know. I mean, I know you were saying earlier that you'll like be reading up on certain things, and with me, I'm always researching different stuff. And for anyone online, I don't know if they've even caught on to this, but literally, a lot of successful people always say this: you reach your success when you're just being you. When you're trying to push something that's not genuine, it's like the universe knows you're being fake. You can't do that. No one's saying that it's like you can't clean yourself up. No, of course, you want to be the best version of yourself, but be you. Be you. If you cuss a lot, cool. If you stutter, cool. If you whatever, like, just be you. You're gonna find your audience when you don't try to like just try so hard. Just loosen up and just go for it. Like, have fun with it. If you're not having fun, that's already a big sign that it's probably not for you. Like,
and people could feel it when you're not having fun. They could, like, you have to be having fun. This is not no TED Talks. I mean, I watch TED Talks from here time to time, but if they're not like making it fun, it's like, dude, I'm not gonna be lectured to. So yeah, that's why I really do admire you. And I also want, like, this is the last question. We got like 6 more minutes. So I like to do it an hour. I just want to talk about, like, how do you deal with your romantic life? I was gonna say sex life. Your sex life, like, how do you balance that? Because,
what sex life?
but see, like, people wouldn't know that, and it's like, is it like, do they get intimidated? Are they like, oh my God, it's Bobbi. There's so many guys liking her pictures, you know, like, and
No,
I know we
not
touched upon it before,
even.
but I want to know,
I don't even think that's the case, because I feel like once people get to know me and they're like, oh my gosh, she is such a fucking goober. Like, she's dorky, she's goofy. Then they're like, oh yeah, she doesn't have like 80 billion men on her. Like, nah, she's cool. Like, that's not even the type of person that I am. Like, how I even said earlier, I'm a homebody. Like, even that kind of affects my dating life, because where am I going to meet somebody? I'm not really socializing like that. But I think if anything, my biggest problem is just more so, I think people want how do I explain it? They want something different from me. Like, they have their own idea of who I am, and then it doesn't resonate with who they find out I really am. So then they're like, what the fuck? Like, I think people, any person, and no offense to like the people that I date, but I think that sometimes they might not have common sense, and they'll look at my picture and they're like, oh wow, like, that's really sexy, or that's really out there. So then they might meet me and they think like that's going to be me. Like, I'm just going to walk around in lingerie and I'm just going to be down to have sex 24/7. Like, no, honey, that's a photo shoot. That is me working. That is me literally just that, working. At home, yes, of course you have your sexy time, and that's all fun and games. But at the end of the day, I don't think people want to see someone that's attractive, opinionated, and that has substance. So unfortunately, a lot of the people that I've interacted with, they only see one side, and that's the side that they want. And when they see that there's more layers to me, it's like, oh, I don't want to connect with that. And then that's when I got to give them the boot, because like, I unfortunately don't want to just be messing around. That's not my thing. I do have more layers to me. So if you just want to get to the business, you can go get it from someone else, because it ain't me.
Have you ever encountered, like, where you thought they don't know you from, like, you for Bobbi Dean, and they just met, like, when you meet somebody and you have you ever like thought, oh, they don't know me for like who I am on like, you know, but you realize that they do, and then they're looking at you at a certain way, like, oh my God, you have this many followers. Like, and my point is, like, has anybody ever tried to, like, they try to act like, oh, I don't even know who you are, but they know who you are? Like,
yes.
Okay.
I've definitely had that happen. And at that point, it's like, well, what can I do? Like, what can I do? I mean, it sucks that people lie about that type of stuff. Like, if you already know who I am, or if you already follow me, then just say that. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Let me follow you back. Let me see what's up. But I think it's really crazy, because people don't realize how creepy the internet can make things. And I feel like when people withhold that type of information, they fail to realize that is a little creepy. Like, you know more information about me and you're not admitting that. That's creepy. You should say that. Like, why not say that? I don't know. I don't know if you watched that show. What is it? Isn't it You on Netflix or something like that? Okay, and you know how like that guy literally, or I don't know if you did get really into the show, but the show was
all the way to the season finale, and not to be dark, but then Kobe died the same day I was on the season finale, and then it really ruined the show for me. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Oh, you said it ruined the show for you. No. okay, but like at the beginning of the season, like you saw how this guy went about it, right?
Yeah.
He would meet somebody in person, then he would be creepy, go home, look them up online and find all their information. Like that's what people don't realize. A lot of people actually do that in real life. So I'm like, how could that not register to you that that's not normal?
Dude,
But
especially like the guys. I know I feel like, you know, the perception is girls do this more. I think guys do. I know guys who do this shit, bro. They're like
yeah,
stalkers,
1,000%. Guys
bro.
always try
They're
to make
just
it seem like
certified
it's just
stalkers.
women. No, they do it too.
Yep, yep. And
Yeah.
they'll look everything up and they act like I have homeboy. I'm like, bro, just dude, I don't even know how do you have the energy to do that? It's a lot of it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah. So, and I like somebody like you, and there's a lot of things that public figures always talk about. It's like, it's very difficult because, you know, I mean, you don't know anything about them, but they know everything about you. So that must be
Yes.
difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, even dating, at least for me, I'll kind of notice that then people won't ask me certain questions or won't, I don't know. In my mind, it's like, are you not trying to get to know me? And then I have to remind myself like, oh yeah, you probably already looked certain things up. So that's why you're not trying to get to know me.
Yeah.
Like, and then people also forget what you think you know. That's what I've allowed to be put out on the internet. That's what I've even put out by my damn self. So it's like, why not ask me certain questions that might let you get to know me on another level? But hey, what you gonna do?
All right, so last question, because I'm gonna let you go soon. I'm really grateful for all you're one of the most knowledgeable people we've had on the show. We've had casting directors and everything, but like we said, and it's not like you give it in a way that's like we can take it, like we learn from it. Like I'm listening to it, you know what I mean? It's not like pure knowledge. You're giving it in a cool way. Let's put it like that for the kids.
Thank you.
So where do you see do you see yourself like? I want to ask this question first. Okay, your acting, because I always, dude, if I would have known there was a fucking performing arts high school in Southern California, do you want to shout that or you don't want to do that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can say where I went to school. I love my high school. Yeah, I went to Hollywood High.
Hollywood. Oh shit, I drive by that shit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great school.
I did not know that was one of those. It's like a Juilliard type of thing situation.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, well, now I'm not sure.
Since, Nicki Minaj went to. Nicki Minaj.
Say that again?
What's the school Nicki Minaj went to? She didn't go to Juilliard. There's like another one. Anyways, sorry.
She went to a school in New York, and even that, New York is great for having so many different theater programs and performing schools. Like, yeah, really, really, they have much better programs than we do out here in California, which is crazy because everyone's like California, Hollywood, but we need more of those. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Hollywood. So, do you ever see yourself going back into acting? Because, dude, like, I know you hear this all the time in the comments and stuff, but from hearing from a real person who's like not trying to just you know, like you have a look, you know, you have a great look. Do you ever see yourself going back into acting and things like that? Because like I have this whole movement, and it's not official yet, but we need to see. I know people started this movement, but like we need to see more people with color in the movies and stuff. Like,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Like, absolutely. I would definitely like to do more acting. I mean, for me, I'm getting my foot back in the door little by little. So I did start getting back into it by doing like my short films and stuff. So sometimes you guys are going to see me in my own short films. So that's for me, that's a start.
That's what's up. Can you please plug those, if you don't want to plug it too early, but just let the people know what those short films are that may be coming out in the next couple of years, year or so, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, I can't talk about the other projects since they're not out yet, but I can talk about like the latest one that we did. It's called Parallel. That one we haven't put it out yet, but we are planning to within the next few months, just because we were putting it in the film circuit, the film festival circuit. So when they're up for review, we can't really put them out because then that takes away from the judges and the directors looking at it and reviewing it. But you guys can see the trailer like on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is Bobbi, BOBBI_DEAN. You guys can see it on there, or even on my YouTube channel. You can literally just type in my name, Bobbi Dean, and then it'll direct you to my channel.
I recommend everybody follow her channel too, because I used to watch her channel like back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago. I was watching it and just like, damn, that's just like, because it gives you a really big insight. I wish I could do it the way you do it. I can't do the vlog shit because maybe one day, but like Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm just reading. I'm just sitting there reading. I can't show that shit. I'm like more. I think I'm like I live a boring life, but people think I'm just out here.
No, not even, because that's me too. Like, that's why I'm usually like, do you guys really want to see me vlog? Because even for me, majority of the time, if I'm not working, I'm literally like with my family, or I'm at home. I'm with my cat, my dog. Like, I'm like, dude, this is it, guys. It's
Yeah.
just me on my computer working, and then my family. That's it. But I mean, even for anybody that wants to vlog, not just yourself, I mean, you can literally vlog stuff. And then when you kind of accumulate the videos that you're like, oh, I like this is entertaining, then you kind of just piece them together and put it out. And there you go. There's your vlog.
Got you. And so last question is like, so for shut up. All right. So Bobby's World going forward, are you guys still filming during quarantine, or how are you guys doing? When are you guys gonna restart, or because people?
Yeah, we're definitely working on that. We are going to be filming right now during quarantine. Unfortunately, we can't do what we normally do. We can't go to the studio. Obviously, we want to make sure that everybody stays nice and healthy and safe. And of course, we want to do the whole social distancing. But we are going to be doing it basically how everyone's been doing it online, whether it's through just different videos pieced together or Instagram Live. We're basically just getting ourselves together, just because since this all happened, all of the people involved with the show, they've all been taking on other projects. And obviously we don't want to take away from people and their stuff. So we're just giving everybody a second to kind of catch up on their work, and we'll be right back into it. But they can follow our page on Instagram as well, so they could stay updated for when we do launch a new episode, or they could catch up on our first season. We literally wrapped up our first ever season in December. So all of those episodes are available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Tidal. That's my favorite, but I wish
The
they don't
title.
sponsor me. I wish they would sponsor, because I always shout out Tidal. But anyway, it's my favorite. Is it on Tidal?
No, we actually don't have title.
Why?
We
You
need
guys
to
should get on
get.
Tidal, but like,
Yeah.
don't even until they pay me. Then I'll tell you to get on Tidal, because I always shout out Tidal. Anyways, yeah, I love you, Tidal. Yeah, but anyways, I really do appreciate you, Bobbi Dean. I'm a fan of yours. I admire everything you do, especially as a female. And like this, not it's like being a strong female, like conducting your own business. I told you, you feel like an independent rapper to me, like somebody just use their own resources to like just create what they want to create. It's not, and you do your things so classy in a way that you're not selling yourself out, but you're like you're an artist. You really are an artist, Bobbi. Like, and
Thank you.
I followed you for years, and thank you for doing the podcast. And yeah, we'll end it like that. Like, appreciate your hope. When we get the studio back, like I would love to get you back in the studio. Like the studio will be ill. Like if we get you in the studio to interview.
I'm down.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobbi Dean.
Of
Let's make some noise for Bobbi Dean.
course.
Woo! Making noise.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And I hope that everybody took something positive away from this whole interview. I hope they do. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. I'm gonna say this. This is a compliment. Like one of the baddest on the planet. You can take that any way. To personality, physical looks, everything. Bobbi Dean, one of the baddest on the planet. You could use that as a quote. I just need 10%. But one of the baddest on the planet. All right. Thank you, Bobbi, so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. We still here. Rockwell podcast. Today's the date. The date is April 23rd, 2020. And, we're still in the quarantine, and it was a great interview. We learned a lot. I hope y'all listen, like, bro, diversify your portfolio. Basically what I'm saying is, like, make sure you have different things you're investing in. Do different things. She was very inspirational. So listen to her, guy or female, listen to her. Like, she stop putting, when they say, people take this concept the wrong way, putting all your eggs in one basket. That means you don't believe in your main thing. But do you realize that those other eggs could help you to that one egg in that basket that you really want? So, ooh, that was ill. I just thought about that right now too. That was ill. So just do things, diversify yourself. Don't be afraid. If you're an introvert, you can still do things that can help out, And Rockwell podcast is April 23rd, Rockwell podcast, 26 episodes. We in the building. Shout out to Alexander Michael, Danger Zone. Shout out to Arjun Jagadish, bro. That's my big brother, by the way. Shout out Aaliyah. Let's give a special shout out to Aaliyah. That's Aaliyah Jagadish. That's my little niece. She's little. And shout out to my new nephew on the way. My new nephew on the way. We're finna play catch. Love y'all. Peace. You still recording?